And finally this week is Watchmen, the big budget adaptation of the graphic novel written by Alan Moore, though his name is not on the credits because he hates comic book movies, particularly the one. And you can't blame the guy after League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah.
I might want to keep my name off of those movies too. And Dave Gibbons, who did the artwork. But it's sort of an anti-superhero movie, and I mean it's the world is sort of peopled with they call them costumed adventurers or masked vigilantes, depending on which the argument you come down on. And really there are no superheroes in the sense that they have powers aside from Dr. Manhattan, who is really the foil to the whole story. But it's regular people trying to do good, trying to make the world a better place, and really confronted with way more obstacles than they're equipped to handle. The plot is way too dense to really distill down.
Get into this
in a synopsis here, and you'll kind of get the feeling while you're watching the movie. It's very long, even excising a lot of stuff out of the book. And a quick note to all the comic book fans: it really, it has the spirit of the original work intact. So the fanboys don't need to revolt about certain changes, particularly at the end. But I mean, it's for a movie about people who dress up in costumes and fight crime. It's a pretty thought-provoking movie.
No, and that's one of the things that I really walked away from this movie thinking is that it is a comic book movie, but it really is a very interesting and very thought-provoking film that kind of looks at what needs to be done to help society, even when society doesn't want to help itself.
Yeah, well, and again, it's another movie about human nature. As depicted in the film, human nature is pretty rotten. And we find reasons to fight with each other, even where reasons don't really exist. Ideological reasons. And in the movie, Russia and America are poised on the brink of nuclear war, and Richard Nixon is president after
for a third term.
Yeah, third term or whatever. But it is a very interesting movie, and once it gets to the end, where it's really dealing with what do we need to sacrifice for the greater good, it's interesting because by the end of the movie there really isn't a villain.
No,
it's just differing opinions on how you should go about making the world a better place.
Yeah, and the means that should be used to get to the proper end.
Yeah, I mean, and that's true of real life. There aren't always good guys and bad guys. There's just people in between trying to get through the day. Yeah,
and I think watching this movie, towards the end, everyone will kind of see themselves in one of these characters. That you'll either fall on one side of the spectrum or the other.
Yeah, either Rorschach or Ozymandias, whichever side of that argument you fall on. And there really isn't a right answer, and that's also true of real life too. There usually aren't cut and dried real right answers. I mean, if you're a fan of like The Dark Knight, that sort of tone to a comic book movie, this one is right up your alley. And if you've read the graphic novel, I think you'll be pleased with the adaptation. Alan Moore won't be, but that's just who he is. So be sure to check this one out.
And we'll be right back with our summary.